it takes time. So, hey folks, thanks for tuning in. This is me, Vishwas Nair. I'm the host of this show, and I'm also an organizer of this show. And a lot of times, when we are thinking of IoT, like we come up with a lot of problem statements. So, how do you solve it? How do you create a problem statement with solve set? That's what it's all about today. So, today we are just going to ramp up our presence in terms of what's the potential of an edge computing as well as what's the potential of building something called as an AI system over it. So this is an hybrid event. This is live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and also some places. I don't know, but this was actually supposed to be an in-person event. We just decided to do it virtual as well. So it's an hybrid event. So let's just get it started. So to me, when I told about what's cloud computing, we are just dumping out that infrastructure on a TCP protocol. That's what it's cloud. So now what we'll be doing is we'll be going through a lot of services which are required in our IoT, and we going through a lot of services as well. So let's just go on. So in a meanwhile, I'll share my screen. You guys can see that it's in deployment. So let's just get this deployment done because a lot of times we might miss out on it. Deploy image. I will test it out. All right. So it goes to the container instances. Then we just deploy it. Perfect. So my demos will consist of all these kind of services. So if you can see that there's n number of services that I've already created, and we are accessing all of these. So let me just start with the basics of the basics. That's your VM. What's a VM at the end of the day? How many of you have worked on virtual box or VMware or anything? Like, I think the old folks know it because CapEx, APEX form, Filkerna, and everything. It's all that. So capital expenditure, operational expenditure, and everything. So what do you do? In a virtual box, you have something called as an OVM file, and you just put it in a USB drive, and now you just go and copy it and things like that. So that's what the services was all about. Like back then, we were all procuring our own hardware or software. So let's just go to a quick round of PPT so that you guys will get to know that as well. All right. So yes, a lot of serverless content. So let me just go through that. Okay, this is the one. So let me just give you a quick insights and we'll just move on. So back then when we were procuring the hardware, we used to optimize on the hardware, right? It's like an entire hardware, cooling it, testing it out, writing the drivers for it, this and that. Now, industry found a new solution saying that, you know what? Let's just not mess it up. Let's just use something called as a virtual machine. Like this was a concept which actually existed in 1970s. The concept of virtualization, containers were already there in the Unix platform, but nobody tried to potentialize it, like build it into a form factor in which it will become mainstream. And now it became mainstream. And now Dockers came in. This was a timestamp that I'll be giving because a lot of times when you think of these kind of an service which is getting built, this is just simple Unix form factor as a Docker. There is somebody called as Solomon Hykes. Just go Google him out because he was the one who created it, and now it's an amazing company which is doing pretty phenomenal in the industry. If you ask DevOps, Docker is something which pops up. And then, of course, we have something called as functions as service. Why functions as service? Because all these things require some amount of optimization that should be done from you, right? You need to target the network, you need to target what's the OS that is running behind. Like even if you're using Docker, you know that you package the static environment in a container. So what's a Docker? I'll just say how many of you know what's a container? Raise your hands. Container ka matlab not ship, the entire thing. So let me just say you one thing. It's now a static representation of your entire environment, your code, which it's running on, right? You can use as many amount of base images as you want. You can use the feature which is there in that base image and you can start working towards it. That's how potential it was. So now it was like too much optimization, man. I'm ready to pay you the money, right? So let me just go for something that a cloud vendor has to take care of everything. And I need not have to take care of all this kind of nonsense. And this is the timestamp that you see, 2013. Of course, how many of you are 2013 and earlier engineers? Like, I just wanted to know that. So I think 2. Yeah, I think the only two guys. Fine. So now in the crowd, there are only two guys. If you are more, just do reach out to us. So it's in a timestamp that we are talking right now here. So in this timestamp, we are just evolving as whatever we wanted. So of course, there is one more slide, I think so. So I basically forgot about it. So well, let's. All right. So I think so. This is the ones. A lot of slides by my side. Sorry for that. So we'll go through that. We'll go through all these things. So don't worry about that. So yes, so we had this, and the Borg and the Omega came in. All right, what happened? Perfect. So okay, so now this is the magic of it. Borg and the Omega, which was an internal project from Google, got evolved as Kubernetes, and now it's in CNCF, and they're doing pretty awesome. And guess what? We wanted to DevOpsify it. I'll also be showing you Azure Devops demo as well, so don't worry about that. We'll just be talking a lot about things, and we DevOpsified everything. It's all because of that Toyota mindset, TOYOTA cars. How many of you know Toyota cars at least? Like, raise your hand. Supra, I think you should be knowing it. Toyota Supra. Innova Krista? Yeah, that's the one. So it's all about that. So evolving as an organization is what is being taught in DevOps. So we don't call companies, we call it as institutions. We don't evangelize something like, you know what, this company is doing shit. That's not us. We are like, we learn from that institution. How? We are here to learn from it. So now all these are the services that we wanted. This is what we needed. And this is how an entire infrastructure looks like. Chaotic, right? Data breaks down, database schema breaks down. What do you want to do? Now, DevOpsify it. So now there are cross-cloud applications that you can build on Azure. So we'll not be doing Azure Arc demo, but I'm giving you a definition of it so that you understand what's the pain that goes behind companies that are going a lot of hybrid and cross-cloud. So I just named it cross-cloud so that you understand, okay, this is what it's all about. So basically, it's hybrid cloud at the end of the day. So of course, this is Azure Developer Committee, but I'm supposed to say this, all of them, same. They still optimize the code. They still have the same old thing, which has to be done by a function app or as function as a service. So it's a higher level overview. What I'm talking right now, it's basically VMs. But actually, I'm saying you about the compute services that are already available. And now it's targeted through an web app, static web app, container instances, service fabrics, you name it, it will be there. So we'll be going through all the demos. So stay tight. So Azure Load Balancer, this is the definition of it. So just read it. Don't worry about it because we'll be going through what's the potential of it, which is not required also. Like there are Azure web apps, static web apps, functions as a service. You need not have to configure this as well. So everything will be done by a cloud service provider, CSP. That's what industry people say. So simple definition, this is how it looks as an infrastructure with all the load balancers, compute being optimized. And all these things are now just saying we are now targeting something called as a redundant system, right? So this is what it is. This is just an overview about how services are getting used. This is how industry saw it, right? There was a wasted amount of compute resources which was there on our services. Your server rack had so much of services which had a wasted compute. Now they started evolving it with respect to this. This is a virtual machine. And now when you think of a container, it's this. So anybody can use their compute space. So a bookish definition on the right side, a visual representation on the left side. So function as a service, a quick note. I'll not take too much. This is the last PPT. I'll not take too much. So function as a service is something like this. A function just goes and sets it and it uses that compute resource. Then what? There's too many amount of services that can be hitting on that same old application, right? So functions can replicate. And now if there's no functions which are replicating, if the functions even gets added up, the available compute space is always there for you. So what do? You don't optimize any of it. So I'm just giving a quick intro. Don't think of anything as func that we have told here. Don't think about that. Just say init, new, start, deploy, publish. Are you familiar with this command? Git init, git. How many of you know git at least? Like git. GitHub. अरे उठा लो सर, कोई बात नहीं. I think Sunil from Azure Developer Community Bangalore is here. I think he's an old guy. Like, I'm not saying he's old. Like, he's already in the industry from a very long time, and he's like, those who know Git, can I raise a hand? I'm like, raise a hand, no problem. So that's how it is. So all these services that I'm just talking here, Terraform in it, Vagrant in it, Git in it, GitHub Actions also use a lot of initialization, a lot of services that just uses this. So initialization, deploy, func, starts, new, all these things are just the keywords which are all embedded inside all these kind of services. So just some examples. I'm not just going through that. So let's just get it started. So let's just go to a lot of services that we're just talking. Of course, there are a lot of people. I don't know how many of you are on my LinkedIn. So if you are in my LinkedIn, so yeah, just ask me questions. So let's start with a VM. What's a virtual machine? It's just a utilization of the available compute resources by using a lot of software, right? So in fact, before that, I just want you to give an intro to something called as hypervisors. How many of you know what's a hypervisor? Of course, whole folks know them. So, in a Microsoft Word, we call them as the graybeard guys, the fossils in the industry, you name it, we just call them like that. So, of course, how many of you know what's a hypervisor? Just raise the hand. I just wanted to know that. Of course, Sunil knows, the answer knows. Perfect. So hypervisor, there's type 1 and type 2. Let's just go on. I'm very bad in doing slides. Sorry for that. So this is how and type 1 and type 2 looks like. So let's just go on, zoom it. So a type 1 is something like which sits on your own entire hardware. So you can consider something called as VMware ESXi, which sits on your hardware, which partition sets, which allocates the resources for different OSs. If I want to install an ESXi on my system, yes, it can be done, but a little bit of configurations here and there. But can that file system run as quick as possible? Don't know that. Hardware optimization needs to be done. So in a cloud, there is an entire amount of hardware which comes in, right? So we can use as much as we want. So what does a hypervisor do? It just separates out that hardware. That's it. Your type 2 is nothing but your VirtualBox and the VMware that you use for your labs. Like lab mein bolte hai na, Windows will not be compatible. You need to have Linux. So just put this thing, start running. There you go. This is what you do. So you had an hypervisor, but you didn't know that it was an hypervisor, right? How many of you installed VirtualBox? Just raise your hand. Good. You didn't install. You used a laptop for. You raise your hand. Perfect. Raise your hands confidently. Yeah, that's good. That's my college, folks. All right, let's just get it started. So these are the amount of VMs that we are not supposed to touch on. These are just already built in just for the demo. I think I did it in, I don't know, when did I do it? I don't know. Before coming here, I just started doing it. So if you can see that today, back then there was just this create button which used to come. But today when you talk about an Azure infrastructure, it's now giving you the potentials of all these kind of an infrastructure. You name it, Azure machine learning. Uses the same old Azure VMware, like or the virtual machines, and they start utilizing all these kind of resources. So there's a service called as Data Science VM. It uses a similar kind of a service. Arc is an amazing thing. So if you want it, it's for the hybrid cloud. How many of you remember that I showed something called as cross cloud and Arc? Man, I showed it in the screen. All right. So how many of you are sleeping? Raise your hands. I know that. I know that. So, okay, fine. This is all about how a hybrid cloud infrastructure can be utilized at the end of the day, right? So it's coming up. So let's just not waste time. Let's just create one. Like I'll not wait till it gets procured and things like that. I'll just show you what are the different services that goes behind it. So as it is, so if you consider this in your VirtualBox language, that's your OVM file. This is an OVM file that we are talking right now. So Azure has actually written the code, compiled it, booted up on one copy of it, and they have kept it, and now you are just utilizing it. So This is how fast it gets in. So ask Tarun, like you in his podcast, he had told, you know what, procuring a VM used to take me 3 days, and now it's a click. Technology. And also welcome to 21st century. So that's how it is. So let me just walk you through the services and we'll just go on with it. Fine. Perfect. So any Azure requires a subscription. Yes, you need to put in some money. But I'm from Azure developer community. I get my passes, so I don't spend a penny here. So thanks to Azure developer community. So now there are some resource groups that I've already created. You can see them. But now I have the facility to even create a new one. But even if I don't create a new one, don't worry. Azure machine learning has Azure infrastructure creates its own VM. And now it has to create its own resource group for it as well, right? So now everything gets procured. So let's do something called, oh God, Vishwas VM demo reactor. So now I didn't write anything called as a resource group there. I didn't want to create a new resource group, but there is a resource group which is already getting created. So those who can't see, this is the resource group, and this has been auto-generated for me. Why? Because there is network security group, NSGs come in, disk come in, virtual networks come in, and OS image also sits there, right? So the storage account also comes in there. So it's basically a disk at the end of the day. So it's all that. And of course, regions are required because data centers are in different places. And what do you want to do with that entire architecture, right? So one place might not have that service available according to my subscription. So, okay, let me just say you the truth out. In industry, even though Azure is in public cloud, there are some private options that are available inside your Azure itself. Like something like Mercedes-Benz has their own cloud. ABB has their own cloud, which is already available. I think probably you can talk about Ability API, which is coming out from ABB. I think probably Dell EMC does a lot of hardware optimization. They write a lot of drivers. Sun is the guy, so reach him out. So yes, of course, if you want anything on machine learning, reach out to me. None of them know complete machine learning. I don't know, like whether you know, but like I'm the guy who knows machine learning here, at least to some extent. So all right, so it's all about that. Now we are talking about availability zone, right? So what is this availability zone all about? Like something like, okay, what if one place just screws up the entire infrastructure? Let me make it available in zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. Can I do that? Because all these data centers that we are talking about are in a power distance. Like, of course, it's all lying on a same TCP protocol, but at the end of the day, it's all optimized for you folks. So zone 2, zone 3, you can put in that redundant locations and you can start working towards. But I don't have too much money because I do work on passes. So let me just put it as zone 1. So of course, security type, it's standard. That means that if I want to enter through Bastion, I have Bastion. I don't have anything called as a third-party authentication, right? Of course, there are a lot of things. HashiCorp Vault can also be integrated into your Azure infrastructure. And to be very frank, there's a service called as Azure Active Directory. So let me just go to a new one. And how many of you are into a lot of technology, like cybersecurity guys and the things like that? Cybersec folks, yeah, of course, they are starting up with DevSecOps aspects. So how many of you want to become a cyber folk? Like college students, not the working professionals. Working professionals are like, हमने पढ़ लिया बेटा, तुमने क्या पढ़ा रहा है? I'm like, okay, fine, like, कोई बात नहीं. So, okay, how many of you want to be a cyber folk? All right. Everybody wants to make money in AI and ML. I can understand that. So there is something called as Active Directory. And you can use these kind of services in order to give who has an access to my entire infrastructure is there on Azure. And these are something called as individual access manager. IAM roles and everything can be set here. Don't worry, we'll just be going on through it. So all these things are standard. You can set what's the standard of it. You can write policies and things like that. Okay, there are other flavors of cloud which access IAM as a code, policy as a code. But in Azure, it's more towards like automating it, right? So that's how it is. So it's much more easier to a guy like me. So Azure Spot instances, simple as that. Don't worry about that. This just says that I'm going to pay less. Simple as that. So this is basically like whenever the workload increases onto your VM, something like too many people are hitting on this IP, too many people are coming out on this website, too many people are coming to optimize things here. Spot instances increases the compute capacity right now. So it's something as an optimization that you can do right now. So all right, so you can use this as your user done. So I'm using SSH. SSH is nothing but a secure shell which uses port 22 on your computer. So to be more precise, your entire computer is filled with ports. It consists of 65535 ports. 65,535 ports. Like let me just say my laptop. My laptop has 65,535 ports. You take a cloud server has 65,535 ports, and in which only that port is allowing a specific traffic to get in. All right, I made it go inactive for a while. I think it will be up now. So now I'm saying that, okay, boss, don't use SSH. I want to use password. I'll use password and I'll say Vishwas. I'll say Vishwas123 at something. I'll do one more. Probably back Vishwas 123 at and at, not an at and at. It's an exclamation. So I'm allowing only 22 port. I can only access this VM using an SSH. I can't access this VM outside, right? This is how you enter it. And of course, there are some validation steps which are required. If you want a specific kind of a network to come and sit on your entire infrastructure, you can just go out there, check that out. What kind of a networking configuration needs to be done on my machine? And that's how it is. And you press on the create, it will just get created. So let's just not waste time. Let's just go for a Bastion demo directly so that it works. So yeah, Bastion, I can say it's just a secure layer added onto accessing your VM. It's something like you are accessing your VM through an Azure infrastructure itself. So it's much more secure than anything. So let's say tomorrow you have an SSH and the PM file. You mail it to some guy saying that, he's an IT guy. He wants the PM access. He wants to check something, networking, this and that. Like it's something called as a social engineering attack, right? It's something like somebody can have an access to my infrastructure without me noticing it. That's how it can be done. So accessing your entire infrastructure is SSH minus I, the PM file name, and the VM name with its IP and the things like that. That can also be done today. Social engineering is something which is phenomenal. Like, how many of you now want to be a not social engineering guy? How many of you now want to be a cybersecurity guy, like a ninja style guy? Like, boom, I'm going to break into anybody's infrastructure and I want to have that access and things like that. So social engineering is one part of it. Okay, recently a company called as Robinhood lost millions of records of first name and the email just because of a social engineering attack. It's not thing. If you think of Sony, of course there are NIST reports that are there on my LinkedIn. Of course, I can share you after the session as well. So in that NIST report, if you can see that how they are socially engineer that entire attack and now access that infrastructure. Movies just got released on your torrent platform or else any of the third-party platforms without Sony having a clear thought about it, why it get released to the public. That's how that attack was. Can't help it. So simple as that. If you want to access this infrastructure, there are 3 ways that you can access. RDP is remote desktop. Like if you just download it, you just have your password and everything. You can access it, but this is not something that industry wants. So how many of you worked on a Raspberry Pi? Like I just wanted to know that. भाई तू क्या करते हो यार? इंजीनियरिंग करते हो ना? तू मेरा junior है. Like I used to be like this one. Yes sir, Raspberry Pi yes, Arduino yes. EC? No, IT. Instrumentation technology. Information technology. Where? Alliance University. Oh, Alliance, yeah. Like yeah. Alliance University. Alliance University में ऐसा ही चलता है. I know them. So yeah, sure. RDP is for remote desktop, so you can access it through all these RDP and nonsense. So Bastion is something like on an Azure infrastructure. So simple as that. I'm going to put in Bastion. So now let's just go on. So this will not get done, or else there is one more demo that we can do. That's not a problem. Let's see what is it all about. So creating a Bastion is today. It's very easy. It's very easy. It's just a click of a button. But I'll show you one more. Back then we were supposed to configuring a subnet. We were configuring a subnet, and we were doing a lot. Looks like I have some demos. So if you want, go to Vishwas Narayan and wait. Sorry for that. How come there's 125 views there? Fine, let's do one thing. Where's my webinar? My webinar's here. So yeah, like I think this is my first webinar. I was the first guy to talk in Azure Developer Community channel as well. So yeah, I think let's just go on. Why is this ad coming now? I didn't order anything. Okay, so this is my first webinar that I did from Azure Developer Community, and I was the first guy to be streamed on Azure Developer Community channel as well. So if you can go here, you can see hundreds of sessions that I've already done. Like I've done hundreds of it, but whatever I was able to find on internet infrastructure, it's here. Like if you find any, just say me, "Bhaiya, aapne ye bhi ukada." Share me. I'll put it in this webinar. So you can see like plethora of content that I've already put in. You name it, I'm already there. So you can just go put that in on your thing. So I think this is not there. So let's go Azure Fridays Bastion. So it's taken care from Scott Anselman, who's one of the best researchers in terms of the .NET. He's not a researcher, but to me, an amazing person. So he's Scott Anselman. So he's the one. So do check him out on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, he's there. So he's the director of community.net. He's taking care of the .NET community and things like that. So yes, I think probably I can go here. I think there is a Bastion thing which is coming up. All right, where is the Bastion? All right, it's here. All right, let's see how. Okay, see how the Bastion was being configured, right? So now we are entering the same amount of username and password, but before you were supposed to configure a subnet. So see, there is a subnet here and things like that. Why are they not showing it? So before we used to configure subnet and everything, so it was a little chaotic for us to do that. Requesting, okay, Bastion data, all right. Yep, I think this is the one. So yeah, see that when you are going through this kind of an infrastructure, there is going to be a lot of encryption that is done using a lot of things. Okay, so let's do one thing. There was a configuration that you used to do, so let's do that. Okay, I think it should be done, or else it will take a lot of time. By the way, it takes a lot of time to get procured. Phew. Okay, so it's not coming up. So what we'll do is we'll wait for a while. If it's not, we'll just jump onto a new demo. That's it, simple as that. So portal.azure.com. Got a lot of things done, so don't worry. So we'll take a less amount of time here. So a VM can also be procured in different ways, accessed in different ways. So that's how it is. So let me just do one more demo. It's called as a static web app. So whatever you have as in containers, whatever you have as in code can also be deployed using a static web app. So it's a very simple thing. What you can do is you can just use the infrastructure and you can procure something like this. So I think there is a demo. This is an blink detector. As soon as I blink, this will start beeping. I think I need to share my screen with the sound so that they can see this one. So I'll be resharing my screen with the audio. Yes, I need the audio up. So I hope this doesn't crash my laptop, because this is a real-time demo that we are going through. So hey, Shubhendu. Shubhendu is the cyber guy from the Azure developer community. So he works in TCS. He works on a technology called as Sentinel from Azure. So how many of you want to really work on Sentinel and things like that? Shubhendu is here. Like he's on LinkedIn. Go stalk him up. So he's an amazing guy. All right, let's see. So this is a face mesh demo that I'm just giving out to you guys right now. So okay, fine. So it's now not coming. Okay, fine. Let me just use the mic now so that you guys can understand what is this demo all about. So I'm just putting down the mic so that everybody can see that. All right. So I don't know where does the sound come in my laptop. This is not mine, my sister's laptop. All right. Let's see. I think you guys can hear the screen, right? As soon as I close the eyes, there is something going on the entire beep and the things like that. So it's a simple intro. Okay, fine. Let me just stop this so that you guys don't get to know the sound. So perfect. I think that was just a simple intro to static web app. I didn't do much of a jadoo here. What I did was just writing that code, dumping it on my GitHub repository, and I run an GitHub Actions workflow. And what we just did was made the static app to just run. So let me just show you where is this GitHub Actions run is also. So this is a public repository. No, this is a private repository. So I think I can go to my, where is my this one? Sorry. Oh yeah, it's here. So let me just go to my this one. I can show you the code as well. So the GitHub Actions run as well. So I'm just showing two demos here. One is for the static web app. One is for the DevOps. That's using GitHub Actions. I'll give you the slot. Don't worry. Huh? Yeah. You'll be getting, of course. See, we started at 5:15, right? 5:15, 5:20. 5:20. So I think only 20 minutes. I've explained a lot, by the way. I did one complete VM demo for 2 hours in one university. That included other flavors of the clouds as well, but we were explaining how data science can actually use a rugged VM to just do that operations, right? We just gave the demo of an ML flow. We just gave the demo of how the experiments are being taken care, artifactory management. Okay, how many of you are actually working on DevOps? DevOps. भाई तो क्या करते हैं DevOps भी बोलते हैं तो उसको I'm working in a company. You told, oh, you're working. All right. So DevOps is nothing but developers and operations coming out together. It's something like strategizing where should my application sit? How should my application be built? How should my application be published? That's how it is. I can show you my password. So, oh, yeah, I'm streaming online as well. So I'll just turn off my share screen so you guys don't see my password. And oh God, I can't print it. So PC only. Of course, you guys are not seeing my screen. Perfect. All right, I don't want this. All right, where is the other demo? I have lost it. No. Where is it? All right, it's here. It's not even here. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh yeah, it's here. Perfect. I don't want you. Let me just cancel it. Oh God, a lot of things. Guys, I just need a little bit of silence because a lot of things can go chaotic here. So silence. Oh yeah, I got this code. And why do GitHub don't bold it up? All right, I have my mouse. All right, so I think I can now share my screen. I can duplicate it. And also, I think I've duplicated it. Yep. And I want the share to be screen here. Share screen. Yep. Let's just get in, and there is something called as face mesh Demo. And this is a privatized repository. So I just wanted to show how when GitHub Actions can also be run on a private repository, even though you can't run a GitHub action completely on a private repository, right? You know, because that's how it is. So of course, DevOps doesn't start with a green tick. It's always red ticks. It's always evolving. Then we'll just go through that. So just see the magic here. The pipelines doesn't look like this. It's even chaotic in an organization. It's just simple thing that we have just done here. And see the magic. It has procured me a setup job, which has initialized me a server on a GitHub workspace or a data center there. And now the entire process, which was supposed to be something as good as Python minus build, Python minus M build, which I use for building out wheel files and things like that, is now getting automated. If I just push some code, let me just say, I just go here. Okay, so index.js. Let me just do one space also. That will be considered as a new code itself. So let me just do one space. And I'll push this. I'll actually commit this code. And this will start a new actions for me. That means I've not changed anything. I just wanted to show how an action runs, right? So this is how DevOps is all about. So let's say all of these things come up in one point of time, and you want to be like, wait, let's just test it out in an automated fashion. DevOps is here. That's how it is. So I think I'll be sharing a lot of resources, so don't worry about that. So I think, Bastion, have you been procured? If not, I don't have an entire day for you. So we can I'll just show you how to even just get a static web app as well. So static web app, the same old magic icon. I hope I didn't. Okay. So magic icon, create, just go here, create it. Of course, it takes some time to say that to an Azure infrastructure, I want a static web app feature to come inside all these things. Let's say simply as Vishwas. I'll not be taking a lot of time. I'll just be showing you how these simple clicks and types can give you that entire pipeline as well. So I'll be showing you that pipeline as well. So don't worry about that. So I think it's free. Yes. Static web apps is free. If you have an credit card account, $200 credit, you can just go out there, use this entire infrastructure which is there for you for free. And of course, on an Azure web app, it's another thing which is a little advanced thing than what we are just doing here. It's not kind of an advanced, it's the same old thing, but it's kind of a more automated version. Like it's something like instead of going on an VM, dump it on an web app. It's makes your life much more easier. Simple as that. Simple definition. So 10 websites can be done using Azure Web Apps. This completely free. Any amount of it, you can use it. You can start working. So I'll say how bigger organizations strategy all these kind of things. So they can't pay tons of money, right? So they use some free options which are already available, preview options which are already available. They test out the application saying that, you know what, there's something called as proof of concepts. They first write the code. They just say that this is the amount of cloud capex that is required, capital expenditure that is required. You need to give me at least 20 lakhs of money. I need to run this application. This will give us 20 crores of money, things like that. So, of course, if you can go to my LinkedIn, it's not me just marketing myself, but a lot of content I can't miss out on that. So let's just go through that. So if you want some more insights, oh God, I can't do this. Let's do one thing. LinkedIn, my network. I don't know. This is my account. Yeah, this is my account. Rishi, accepted. Who is the Rishi here? He just sent me now. Bap re bap. Okay, there's something called as Azure Sketches. It's a simple thing where you can just go look at all these kind of architecture that we just rigged up using Azure infrastructure, and you can learn something new. Like I've written for what is databases. This is I think probably you can consider this as a primer for your databases. So I think I need to copy this. Where can I go and copy this entire thing? I don't know. How to view source. All right. Oh shit. No, it's not that. How to open an image? I have actually forgotten this. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's just copy this. Done. So if you have different databases, how it works, it's there here for you. So just follow this hashtag called as Azure Sketches. You guys will get to know everything. So Azure Sketches, just get it done. Simple as that. So all these infrastructure can also be tested out for free as well. So this is how companies strategize. They don't pay out n number of money. You are getting paid to cut down the cost. Free options are available from resources. Just use it. And there are something called as deployment slots, something like blue-green deployment, canary deployment, big bang. Much more prominent person in Devops is here, there. So you ask them, they'll just come out with tons of things, rolling updates and things like that. So all these things, right? You are now using that for free. Now, where's the source of your? Oh, sorry for that. Come up. So where's the source of your entire code? It's on your Azure Devops. That means Azure Devops has repositories. You can put that on that repository, start running it. You can use GitHub. GitHub is already available for you. You can use it. And there are other sources like GitLab, Bitbucket, Hasna, and things like that. So these are something called as a Git, but they're pioneered in such a way that they make your life much more easier. Understand that? He's the working guy, so he's like, and all of you are like, it's too advanced for me. We have all been in your positions. We can't help you that. Like, this is 1 hour, not even 1 hour, 40 minutes of content I need to deliver. I need to put in as many services as I can. I can't help it. So just go back, see the recording on the Azure developer community, start learning from that. You're sorted. So perfect. And now I know that there's GitHub and I'm already linking my GitHub. All right. So this is good. So I'm already linking my GitHub. If I want, I can change the account. I don't want it. So let me just say what's my organization. And it takes time. Face mesh demo. I'll just do that only. Demo face mesh. And I'm saying main branch is the one which consists all the code. Let me just put that. And build presets are always there, right? So let me just say you one thing. An entire organization doesn't build on the same thing. I'm a React developer. He's a Go developer. He's a developer who writes in Java. He's a developer who writes something called as .NET. And we don't have time to train everybody in Java. We don't have time to train everybody in .NET. What we do is we get it in the form of an API, and we say that, you know what, developer, just learn to get that code in the form of an API, and a Java developer can use it. A React developer can use it. A Go developer can use it. So in the industry, it's all about form factoring the code. It's not like your raw code has the money. Your raw code has nothing to do in the industry. It's always about form factoring it, DevOpsifying it. Think about that. So yes, of course, I'm not using any of these. You can use plethora of options which are available. Hugo, React, Angular, Python can also be done. Django, Flask. Support is coming up from static web app, even containers, like whatever I told, the Docker, it's all there. So everything will be there. So I'm using custom, and I'm not saying anything here. I'm just telling it's called as output location. Where is the output that I need to learn from? And I'm saying that, don't worry, boss. There is something called as index.html, and you have to take it. And that's it. Probably this might take a little bit of time. That's where all the output gets dumped in. Everything comes onto my entire infrastructure. It's easy. Like, it's not tough. It's pretty easy. Once you understand what's the logic behind these infrastructure, what is the hardware which is going behind. So I'll show you how these things can be seen as well. All right, this is now here. Okay, let me just see what is the, all right, my sessions. So every day, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, I've booked my calendar so that nobody can touch that slot. It's for the sessions. So yeah, it's always there for me. So yeah, those who want to see, it's here. That's how dedicated I am to do a session. So fine, let's just go on. I need to grab that password. which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hash. So what I'm doing will never be done in industry. They'll never speak about the password like this. They'll be like, you know what? It's there in Azure Key Vault. It's there in HashiCorp Key Vault. Everything is a secret there. Like even if the key gets compromised, you can't decode it. That's how the algorithms are built. Vishwas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exclamation mark. This is my password. You can see that. You guys can see that too. So let me just connect it. So I think there is a pop-up which is not being allowed. My sister's laptop. So I'm just showing you how a bare metal OS VM looks like. Now this will come up. All right, I'm allowing you all the traffic. Ta-da! You now have an entire infrastructure in your hand, right? So now let me just do sudo apt get install Apache 2 nginx. What should I install? Yeah? Perfect. There's one industry guy. I want you to guys to behave industrial a little while because your college has nothing to do in your life. So make sure that if there is a session going on, make sure that you learn it before. Something like, okay, kuch na kuch to documentation ko ukad ke aayenge. Just do that. It'll be amazing. nginx. nginx. Correct spelling? Like, is this the one? nginx. Is this a correct spelling? Right. Yeah, I should have done -y. So it should have come. So nginx is getting installed. So let me just show you one thing. This infrastructure is not getting accessed now, right? So if I copy, oh, sorry, I just went to the network settings and configurations. So this infrastructure might not have an access to that nginx right now. Oh yeah, it's been installed. So I think nginx might pop up. But to be very frank, yeah?
Firewall ports, port 80 has to be.
Oh yeah, firewall port 80 has to be installed. So yeah, I think this has to, okay, let's just do one thing. Let me just go to that 80 wala port, or else there's all ports are being enabled. So I can use the same thing. I think I can do the Bastion. I can do the same demo here as well. So Bastion can also be deployed. But beforehand, let me just show you how that, I think that this will not work, right? Because 80 port was not allocated. The HTTPS traffic can't move in. So yeah. So I think, yeah, that's not firewall, that HTTPS traffic only. It doesn't allow you because this is on an Azure infrastructure, right? So it doesn't allow me to install it, use any of it. So yeah. I think I should have done for all ports instead of doing for 440. I should have done for all ports. Like if you select all ports, SSH will also be available, HTTPS, TCP will also be available. So okay, let's just not waste some time. So let's just go to that resource group which we have created for a VM, and you can see that there's a bunch of resources, right? I'll zoom it in. You can see that this is a NIC, network interface card, which has been software defined. So to be very frank with you, software has defined the way which we are accessing a data center today. Software has defined the way in which the network has to come in. So VXLAN, STT, GRE, tunneling, like these are the advanced level network protocols, tunneling techniques that they use in order to secure that entire infrastructure. Like bad traffic can't get in. Somebody like, okay, your Raspberry Pi has all potential to screw up your entire infrastructure. That's how potential a Raspberry Pi is. Yeah. So there's a hacker out there. Like when I read some NIST reports, when I read some state of the DevSecOps reports, not state of the Git Kraken has something called as Git sprawl report and things like that. So I'll be showing you that resource as well. You know, when I read that, I'll be like 6,000 secrets were given out by a company in their repository out there. Anybody can access it. Just imagine somebody knows the SSH into even our hybrid infrastructure, which has the cloud set up in our own institution, and somebody knows that, okay, this is where the code is getting stored there. They have an entire access to our infrastructure, right? No, this is how industry is complex. So it's all that kind of a mentality. So this is a VM which got procured. To a layman terms, it's just your virtual box getting procured there. So this is an IP, that's your network protocols, configurations, network security groups, subnet, and of course, this is a disk which is coming in. So that is storing in all the images of the OS, that is storing in all the configurations. If I install an nginx, it's getting stored there. So that's how it is. Dumping your infrastructure on a TCP protocol. This is it. So, but we access it through an HTTPS traffic. HTTP is HTTPS HTTP traffic. Yes, hypertext transfer protocol. So of course, in a similar way, I just told that the artifactory is here. I can create it. This is how the infrastructure gets procured. So no worries about that. So all right. So it's taking time. Submitting deployment in progress. This is for the machine learning. So let's just get this done quick and easy. No more time. All ports. I think that Bastion should have had been Bastion port 80, all ports VM or something. Okay, so I hope this is not taking much more time. Of course, this takes a lot of time. Port 80, 443, SSH also it will not work. Successfully added subnet, deploy to Bastion. Oh god, we should have created the demos prior. So that's not a problem. You are getting paid to cut down the cost. Yes. Okay. Yeah, he said the same thing. You are getting paid to cut down the cost. Probably he's not saying it to me. I'm here to use the passes, bro. So all right. So I think it will take time. So let's just not worry about it. Let's just go to something called as logic apps. So let's not waste our time, because a lot of times, let me just say you something like we are going to architect something, right? Something like I can't put everything as a code, right? If I put everything as a code, it's just going to be so chaotic. Too much of configurations, this and that, misconfigurations in the cloud, too much. So what we do, we don't take that headache at all. All right, Bastion demo. We'll just do that. I think hopefully this has worked on with that. So okay, if the Bastion gets allocated, we'll go on with that demo. If not, no problem. I hope the Bastion is done. Let's see. Okay, so a lot of times when we are architecting a solution, it's something like, okay, I can't configure everything. I can't code everything, right? It's too chaotic for me to even code something and say that, you know what, I'm going to be loyal to my developer role and things like that. You can't be loyal every time. You need to find something which is going to be more easier, much faster, more easily accessible. So cloud to me is a model which gives me accessibility, scalability, and adaptability. What is accessibility? Something as services which I couldn't have it done on my infrastructure, I'm able to use Azure and I'm now able to use it up. Something as good as what I can say for availability. Something like, let's say my infrastructure is capable of 1,000. Of course, it's much more bigger than that. 1,000 people coming and hitting on that entire service that we have deployed onto that entire server. But tomorrow, let's say 1,000,000 comes up, says that, you know what, something as be chaotic as the founder getting killed in some accident and the shares going down, and everybody wants to take out the shares of that company. They want to sell it out so that they know that market goes down. The traffic increases by 10x, 100x, 1,000x. Something as good as Black Friday. Everybody will be like, kuch khareedte hain. And everybody comes inside that infrastructure, and there is a lot of chance that you might not be able to figure out the difference between a DDoS attack and the traffic which is coming in. So that's how it is. So DDoS is nothing but distributed denial of service. Something as good as a Raspberry Pi controlling hundreds of computers out there and giving a command in such a way that those computers will hit on that entire infrastructure. That's how it is. Okay, it might be a little over for you, like too much of complexity, but this is how cloud computing is. So 1 hour of session, I can't do anything. So, all right. So sometimes you have to cheat on the infrastructure saying that, you know what, I'm going to use IPaaS, integrated platform as a service. Like, I know how to code. Don't worry about that. But I'm good at logics, right? Let me just use something which is already there. So integrated platform as a service is one such service where you can use it. So I'll just go a quick demo in such a way that what's happening. I think too many tabs open. Let's just go to my Gmail and let me just show you that message that I got. Okay, so uploaded a new video on my laptop before coming to this demo. That was that jet demo. That jet thing. Okay, so let me just show you that. This was the video that I uploaded. All right. So where is that? It's a short actually. It's not actually a complete video. So it's a short. I think it's 3 hours before I just uploaded a video saying that, you know, it's a new demo. It's a new just did for demo and things like that. And as soon as I uploaded it, this video came up. So I'll show you how the logic is simple as that. Where's the designer? So, okay, Bastion has come up. If it's not come up, I can't help it. So we will show you how that NG-INX page looks and things like that. So it's a shiny looking green color website that we can work on. So, all right. So Logic Apps, where are you? Okay, so I think probably this is up. Let's see whether this website is up. Yep, this website is up. I just uploaded it on your front, right? Like I just did Vishwas right now, right? So let me just show you that code as well. Oh God, too many things, man. Too many things. So okay, so let's just go to that face mesh demo. Face mesh. Face demo, face mesh, web app, actions is here. So all of it is running. Perfect. So these are the two pipelines. There was only one, right? Back then I had only two. Now it's no. Actually, we used this one because we updated something on index.js that was there. But now when I pushed a new pipeline code, both of the pipeline just got ran and it's available. So that's how it is. So you can just use that, or else you just come to me. I'll just share you that demo which we had just created. So you can use your phone. Okay, let me just do that. You know, it's a short URL, right? I can use that. So I'll give you that link. It's tiny.cc. Let's just go create that. You guys can work it on your phone as well. If you have a laptop, use that. So tiny.cc azdev demo, which was 1. Okay, let's do one thing. React 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I hope now. Oh, sick. I've only done this. I know this. Reactor 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think so. Oh God, I've used all of it. Okay. Domain not allowed. Fine. Let's do one thing. Vishwas reactor. Why? Have I used everything? I don't know. like we'll be giving a lot of demos, so we don't know where we have clicked on it. So what's your name? I'll do Sunil. Reload. I don't know what's happening, man. Okay, do one thing. Oh, domain name not allowed. So this is actually something which doesn't have an SSL certificate, right? This has an SSL certificate. It should come because this is an static web. But how is this domain not coming? Oh yeah, I can show you the QR code. Generate the QR code online. So industry guys, right? DevOps mindset. We all come up with the DevOps mindset with some experience. It's all that. So industry is all about that. So coming up with that DevOps mindset. Something thinking as good as. Okay, so let's do one thing. All right. This is the QR code. Just go touch that through your Google Lens, Bing, whatever it is. Just go copy that. It'll come. It'll be like if you just close your eyes, it'll be pa, 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 things like that. It's a beep. So I'll share it to him on WhatsApp, so don't worry. Oh, it's always very bad from my side. I do all these kind of monkey nonsense. So fine, just take a look at that. So QR code is generated. Did it come up? I just wanted to know that. So let me just zoom in. This is the QR code. You guys can scan that. So those who are seeing hybrid, scan this. I think it's available, Sunil sir. It's available. The application came. Perfect. It's even available on mobile as well. So see the compatibility of it. It's making sure that my index.html file, which is pure HTML, is also available on an CSS and an HTML platform, which is like too much optimization. It doesn't come perfectly, right? It doesn't come perfectly on your phones, but on your laptops, it becomes good. So somebody is working. Laptop. Good. Are you from my college? Proud of you. Give big round of applause. Big round of applause, please, because she did that demo. Applause. Come on, people. We are all engineers. So we are just clapping for that one person from my college who did that. Okay, she didn't do that, but she just made it work on a laptop or computer. Fine. So okay, so let's just go to the designer. Let's not waste any time. So you'll go mad when you see the amount of blocks which is just going behind that thing. So I'm saying to the Logic app, when I upload a video on my channel, send an email. Simple as that. How it works? Very simple. So let me just show you how this thing works. So YouTube, it's as something as YouTube. Okay, let's do this. YouTube. Why? Am I audible? Yes, no. A very good session. You are doing great job. Yeah, thank you so much. All right. Oh, sorry. This is blocking me. Fine. That's perfect. Authoring a lot of things. So this is YouTube. I just click on that. Just see the magic of it. I don't do much of a work here. Actions will pop up. And you can sneak into the code. You can take a peek into the code saying that, this is how the code is. Like, this is all JSON, JavaScript object notation. So I think there's a person called as Vivek Sridhar. How many of you know Vivek Sridhar here? Of course. Vivek Sridhar. Sunil sir. Okay, this is my sister's, this one. I'm very sorry. This is not my laptop. My laptop is very bad. It has gone through a hell. So I can't get it. So, okay, there is a person named called as Vivek Sridhar, and he always says that, YAML and JSON is the language of DevOps. Because you see that. Okay, let me just show you the workflow file, which comes here. So if you see a workflow file, it's all YAML at the end of the day. This is YAML. How many of you know how to write a YAML code script? Of course, you know it. JSON. I think yours is ARM templates, right? So JSON. So YAML is the code. Like, to be very frank, we all might say DevOps is Python, Java, this and that. It's YAML and JSONs at the end of the day. I'll show him, so don't worry. Do stock him up. Call him to your college. Same, sir. You know what? We want a session. You'd learn to love to learn from you. And if I'm free, I'll obviously come to your college. Let's talk some more people. More people come and stalk me than me going and stalking there. So he's the one. He's one of my mentors. He's one of my teachers. He has meant a lot to me. If I'm talking here, it's because of a lot of guidance that I've got from him, like the confidence that he just put inside me. So just go talk to him and say that, you know what, we are just going to learn from you. Please come and deliver it. Talk to us. He'll be happy to connect with you folks. So I think too much of things. So this is how the code looks like. And also don't worry about that. So I don't want to go with a lot of templates done. Okay, so even if you copy this and I paste it here, okay, this doesn't come out like this. Let's do that. I think this is going to take a little bit time, but let's see. Okay, send email. Perfect. So I copy this or something like let's just copy this and paste it here. Oh, it used to come as a JSON, but why is it not coming now? Hey, new video uploaded. Add dynamic content. Let's add some dynamic content. Okay, let's do queries or something. So it's just a dummy thing, video list or something. Let me just add it and I'll show you how the code looks like even on this infrastructure. So I can copy this entire code and I can go here and paste it. It's still JSON at the end of the day. I might be putting it as a component. When I copied it, it come out as a JSON code. Like it's just doing all the work. The magic is just configuring it. So that's how it is. So we just did that and that's perfect. And what we can do is we don't have to do much here. So we'll just click delete this. We'll save this. Let me just go to my channel and I'll run one more code so that you guys can understand what's happening. So, all right, I think I would. Oh God, a lot of resources open. So this is my channel. You guys can go subscribe to that. A lot of podcasts from amazing folks. I do Devops chat series as well. So enjoy that. I get amazing folks, by the way. So subscribe to that. Okay, let's just focus on the demo. Let's do one thing. Are there any short videos? So, okay, my mom too has a cooking channel. I can't endorse that. So, okay. Vegetarians here. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Let's just upload a video. Let's see whether the notification comes up there. Okay, no, I don't care. Yeah, like you can call me my house is a digital house, like something like we all want to be in YouTube and things like that. I started it. My father, mother, everybody wants to be on YouTube. Strange. And they have less subscribers than me. I win. Okay, let's see whether I'm uploading new ones, so it takes time. So as soon as it gets uploaded, okay, I could have done something as in Y2 mate or something. I could have done it. So of course this will come up. Let's see whether the mail has come up for me. Let's see whether the mail has come up. It should come up because I'll be running the trigger hundreds of times if you want. So don't worry about that. I should get something called as new video uploaded every time that I start running. So I'll run the triggers. Of course, this might take a few minutes or a moment. Successfully check the triggers. Yes, this is up and running. Of course, is the video uploaded? Let's see. All right, let's see whether the video got uploaded. Oh shit, this is also non-vegetarian. Let's see whether this trigger works. Yeah, wait. I think probably it's waiting for the processing. Yeah, it's waiting for the processing. It will take some time. Don't worry, I'll give you the slot. Slot is yours. I think it's just 30 minutes out. I'll just give you all the things, so don't worry. Yeah. I'll give you. God damn it! Sorry for that. Let's do it. Let's do it, people. Okay. Oh, this is processing. Last demo from my side. Everything will be there on Azure community YouTube channel, so you guys just go there, check that out, and I'll show you some machine learning pipelines, data breaks, and things like that. So, okay, so it will take some time. So beforehand, if you have seen some of my Azure sketches, there was a component called as data bricks, right? It's used for mass processing the data. And let's just do that. Okay, let's just do something new demo, things like that. So it's all that. It's all about processing in terms of scale. So that's where Databricks comes into the picture. So you can go here and check all these things up here. So we waited for the people to hop in. That's the problem that we did. So that's perfect. So as I told, Azure Active Directory does all the authentication and everything. So yeah, that's how it is. So if you want, you can learn with a lot of Python codes and everything. So new 1, 2, 3, 4, Azure container instances, deploy. So let me just show you how the endpoints look. Simple as that. This is just for a testing. So I know it's a bushy demo because a lot of times in 1 hour, a lot of things will be moving here and there. So we'll just be trying out. That email I should get. I think I should be getting that email. If not, that demo is there. So don't worry about that. Endpoints created, logic apps. Oh God. Run the trigger. Let's see whether there's a new email. I just did it. Just come up. Processing 99%. Okay, done. Come on, man. All right, so it will take some time. So let's not worry about it. It's all deployed. It's all done. So let's just do this. Test this thing. So if I want to test this, it's just a designer application that we just did it. I'll show you how the test is. Then we'll show how the deployment is also all about. Then everything is sorted. Done. Then what we can do is see the magic. It was an image of a dog. It says that it's an image of a dog. With less confidence, it says it's a cat. More confidence, it says it's a dog, and it's a frog with less confidence. And that's how this entire designers look like. And let me just show you how this thing is. Very simple. You just connect the components here and there, connect the compute resources. You can go on with any amount of things. So that's it from my side, folks. So there's nothing that I can do right now because it's time for us to go for the digital twin. It's the main concept. If you want some more, there is Devops Garage, which is going on my LinkedIn. And this will be streamed on my Twitter as well. So you can go there. And that's perfect from everybody. Thank you so much. I'll mail you the credentials for StreamYard, sir. You can log in, okay? So quick. So we'll just do it quick. Tarun Marwa. Yeah, I'll log in. So, hey, folks, thank you for your time and your patience. Sorry for lately starting the session because we were waiting for people to hop in. All right, so Marwa Tarun, right? So this will be Tarun. Don't worry, just go on with it. So, Marwa Tarun, the new tag is here. So that's perfect from my side. And if you are waiting for some more things, just go out there, just hop in with a lot of things out there. Like we are just sharing out some resources for you. Yep. So how many of you learned at least some services about Azure today? Like some services. Okay, कुछ ना कुछ तो Azure के बारे में कुछ पता चला. कर लो. And of course, there's a lot coming in from Tarun, so just go. Don't worry, take your time. Take your time. That's all yours. Of course, there'll be Tarun Mawa coming out for the show, so stay tuned for the show. Yep, you can hop in. I'll be here.
Okay, log in here. This one.
It's here. Take it. This is an hybrid show. Can't help it.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure. It will come. Don't worry.
no,
I'll
no,
just move here.
this can just be.
Perfect. So that's it. You can log in quick. I need to turn off my video. Yeah, I think you came out for the session. We could discuss a lot
Yeah, do that.
after this one.
We
I would take that much because probably
Take it.
to
Take it, no problem. First log into StreamYard.
which one?
StreamYard, I sent you the link on the Gmail
Okay.
because this will be streamed live also. So this will be the digital twin demo. So stay on it because it takes a lot of time. Don't worry, take your time. This is all okay. Like it happens, we can't help that. Guys, next meetup, please come before because we can't wait for everybody, right? This is what happens when you're coming. Okay, I need to remove this. I'm sweating. Login? Perfect. Perfect. Sure. I'm gonna leave. Afterwards, I'll join. Okay. Perfect. Have you shared the screen? God.
Okay, let me share it. Is it
Wait,
visible?
wait. I should put it on the stream. So that's
Actually, you have to-
you. I didn't add myself. So that's it from my side. So that's it from my side, folks. It's all about how the potential of IoT was all about in terms of how the potential of IoT was all about in terms of how the potential of IoT was all about in terms of how the potential of IoT. All right, it's all about that. Just basic intro to the computer visions and things like that. You just can understand what is the services, and let's move on. So thank you, Tarun.
Am I audible? Could hear a echo of me. Okay. So, good evening. I won't take like I think this much time, but yeah, I will try to cover this, wind this up to 30 minutes because it's been you guys might have to leave as well, coming from the far for to attend these sessions. So, so I'm Tarun. Like I'm working for this IT industry for last 11 more than 11 years, and so my topic is like kind of interest to me because I could hear my echo. I don't know. I could hear my echo. I think. Uh,
Okay, just go ahead.
so I've been working with ABB for last 1 year, and prior to that, I have worked in organization like startup, and then Accenture, and then Sapient, and then I've moved to Bangalore. So basically, I'm from Delhi. I relocated to Bangalore, and most probably it's my hometown now. So I relocated last year in December. So it's a kind of nervousness as well excited because it's the first in-person event for me, and addressing people 40 to 50 people. It's a opportunity in itself, which I think I would like to thank Vishwas and Vivek. The Sridhar just Vishwas told. I've been associated with Vishwas for past 9 months. We were doing couple of sessions in the ranging from DevOps, DevSecOps, architecting, and the security part of it, as well as the other aspects related to cloud. So, yeah, so pretty much that's about me. Yeah. So this is the agenda which we'll be trying to cover. Like digital, we will see what is digital twin, the use cases in manufacturing, and why we are using digital twins, and this benefits and this contribution in industry 4.0. Why I have choose this topic? Because I see in ABB also we are using digital twins. Like with a company like ABB, we are I am into robotics department. So we have couple of divisions: electrification, automation, industrial automation, and then robotics, as well as process automation. So in robotics, we are using, in fact, the I think if not all, but at least some part or advent of just a starting of digital twins. So like digital twins, when you say this term have derived, evolved, I think during the COVID era, when we like 2 years back, when people cannot go to the factories and industries to troubleshoot what's happening wrong in the machinery, or anything component which is anything machines or turbines, what has happened. So when there was a complete lockdown during those things, like technologies, like it's going to evolve. Like IoT was pretty much there. It's more than a decade. IoT was there. Digital twin came a couple of years later. It's an extension of IoT solution. So it's whatever Vishwas explained about IoT. It's just a extension of IoT solution. So now when we come about digital twins, now the technologies that has evolved from digital twins now are metaverse and the augmented reality that are developed on top of the digital twins. So and these are some of the things which we'll try to cover. How we go about developing a ADT model. When I say ADT, it's a Azure Digital Twin, and the some small demonstration of it, and the typical IoT architecture, and along with the digital twin, how it looks like, and then a technical briefing, like what other languages you need to learn in order to evaluate the model, and understand more of it, and then lastly the pricing part of it, because that's where it's important when we run the solution kind of with this kind of solution, where we generate tons of data and petabytes of data from flowing from the events, the devices which are connected to the IoT solution. So okay, like this. This one. Okay. Like what is exactly digital twins? I will just walk through some of the theoretical slides, and then probably will show the simple demonstration of it, because I think advanced. I could also cover the advanced ones, but I think considering the people, I think most of them are new to the cloud, so it will be. Let's have an introduction of what is exactly this technology is. So digital twins like is a platform as a service. So this is again, now there are three models inside cloud: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Infrastructure as a service, like I think Vishwas was telling one slide, where we have come from a bare metal background, and then virtual machines, and then the containers. So infrastructure as a service means the virtual machines which he was creating, like, and we deploy our applications to it, and we provision infrastructure like VMs, storage account, and deploy our application on top of it. Like, we have to take care of the operating system as well as the software, as well as the application. So that's what called as infrastructure as a service. Platform as a service means the operating system, the images, and the patches will be provided by the cloud vendor. We have to only take care of the logic and the code application which has been deployed. That is what it is called platform as a service. So we don't have to bother about the underlying infrastructure actually. So that's where it's called platform as a service. And then comes the software as a service, like we have Gmail, Facebook, and these applications, Twitter and LinkedIn as well. So basically, digital twin is a platform as a service, right? And it's a cloud AI, like it's a combination of cloud AI and IoT platforms. So as I said, it's an extension of what IoT has to offer. So what is IoT? First of all, like Internet of Things means, what you say, like when you want to connect a device, like a device can be anything, like a thermometer inside this room which is measuring the temperature, humidity, and all those aspects. So that is a device. So that is measuring the all these parameters and in a room. And this is particular a floor. In a floor we have a room, and this is a device is called a thermometer. It's a simple use case scenario. Like that is what it is called, a device which is connected to the IoT hub. Similarly, like we have anything. That's a simple example which I could give. And then we can have, for example, in case of robotics, right? In case of robotics, because I've been dealing with the I can also probably show one of the videos available in the YouTube for the ABB robotware solution, how we are using Azure Digital Twins. So so we are collecting. So we have robots, we have controllers, and we have teach panel. Teach panel like will control, probably a YouTube video will show you like how to what are these components. So with teach panel we control the robots, the movements of it, and then the measurements which are captured inside the robot are being collected. So by this solution which is called IoT. IoT, there's a device that is in the robot. Is if I refer, there is the device called controller which is connected to the robot, and that controller is actually measuring the what you say is acting as a device which will calculate the measurements. There are tons of data generated when you say about robotics, like or a turbine as well. So that is a device which is connected to the IoT hub solution. Then we usually use to push the events. Now digital twin comes into the picture, like what is happening inside the IoT solution. So digital twins represent a virtual representation. So for example, we have a machinery here, a robot, we have a controller here, and we have a teach panel which actually controls the movement of the robot which is there. So now if suppose like there is a defect in the robot which is not moving payload, like it's not able to lift the boxes or the so we want to troubleshoot those aspects. So how we will do that, when if the engineer is not present in that location, that's where this advent of this technology is called digital twin came into the picture. With a digital transformation came digital twin. So now this technology is doing is virtually representing the graphs for you. Like it's I can show you the couple of models which I've created, simple ones, like and the problems in the machinery it can detect, and then engineer can troubleshoot, and and then can predict. So we can see the advanced use cases. So like we can predict the use cases, like the KPI matrices, the predictive events, like what I think Vish was told about the data bricks, right? It can predict the future events. So even the things like the very good example is the treatment in the medical industry, like for the advanced cases of the cancer and all those healthcare sector. It's playing a very good role. Like whenever we see metaverse, like metaverse is developed on top of digital twins. So when you say metaverse like was happening when you were not there, patient was there in his home, but still he could virtually see if a person is like if a person is sitting inside his room, a doctor, and addressing his problem. So that is called metaverse, and that is derived from this concept called digital twins. because it's virtually, but there are a lot of use cases for the digital twins, like in manufacturing, in airspace, and all those, the healthcare. So it's played a very good role in predicting the events. So it's a predicting like the Databricks services are there. So it's a very could be a start of innovation, I could say. So augmented reality and what you say, metaverse, are developed on top of digital twin, which are I think in Microsoft. We'll go through different slides as well. So I think we have covered pretty much of that slide. So why we have digital twins now? So I think with these, spatial integrated graphs, intelligent graphs, the object models which we are developing, the solution that it itself explained why there was a need of digital solution. So if we come up, so this technology digital twin first was used in, I think, year 2010 by NASA, to actually to see to predict and to launch the aircrafts and the rockets. So 2010 was the first time when this technology was ever used by any industry. So prior to it, this term was coined in 2003. That about the timeline, and then in Azure, came at 2018 when it was in public preview, and I think 2020 December this was a general availability. During the time, I think 1.5 years back, it's a competitive and new service which like Azure has to offer. And I think, yeah, so these are the couple of spatial intelligence graph, twin model subjects, and then the custom defined functions which we can use. We will see the use cases of it, like when we go to implementation, what are the services being used. One of them, I think, which he already explained, is function app. We use function apps to communicate uh, that I will walk through. So see, digital twins is acting as a processing the events. So there is a data ingress and there is a data egress. Means data ingress could be will be generating the events like from the machineries or IoT hub. A device would be connected to the IoT hub that will act as a data ingress, means incoming flow of the traffic. So like this is one of the use case which I think, yeah, this is one of the use case, three of the use cases which was I just want to discuss. One is the predictive maintenance, as I was outlining. Like it provides you the holistic view of predicting the events, like what will happen next. So that's the one use case, Industry 4.0. Then it comes the process planning and optimization, like a digital footprint, like ingestion of the sensor. Consider a thermometer connected to a room which is measuring the humidity and temperature as a sensor. Sensor is like even when we go to a simple use case, when we go to washrooms as well. So the IoT solution, the simple is like the water which is coming, it's taking the hands, right? It's taking the impressions, like, and then whenever we put our hand, then the water info starts. So this is like one of the good use cases which probably we whatever. So yeah, so this is one of the use cases of the IoT. And even if I talk about my office ABB, so they have been utilizing a lot of IoT products to and to reduce the carbon emission. So because this technology is helping us to a very great extent in reducing the carbon emission, and that is very important in this time where the climate change is real. So that is where I think if we not only the climatic solution it can provide, but what it can do is to design new cities, infrastructure for the cities, how it should be look like the real estate sector. So that also buildings, healthcare, manufacturing, what not. Like these are the couple of three use cases: predictive maintenance, predicting the outcome; process planning in terms of the real estate, how the building should look like. UK is developing is using effectively this solution for developing the real estate, designing the entire cities, and improving their healthcare system. And then we have the product design and virtual prototyping, like the virtual models of which we are using the patterns and the workload capacities. And this is what so this is the right side. The picture to the right side represents the physical aspect, like sensors. In ABB also we have these kind of robots which are there, right? And which are actuators, is like just like the propagating things like the data flow. And it's the robots are picking the device things from one end to another, and sensors would track the movement of it. So now digital twins, if you look toward the right side of which is called digital, so means that it is trying to analyze that solution using some kind of virtual representation of the physical objects. That's what I was referring about. So this is a picture taken from one of the sources, I think Deloitte or University Press. Now, I think this is the first the history of the timeline history of what when it came. 2002, it was coined by Gravians in one of the universities. And then NASA was the first, as I said, to implement this in 2010. And this digital twin came in AWS. This service is referred to as different, but that came much earlier than Azure. What Azure in Data Twin came in Azure in 2018, first in public preview, and then the general availability happened in 2020 December. So this is about the timeline of what. Now this is the typical solution, like what I was trying to explain. So Logic App IoT Hub. This is called data ingress. In Kubernetes, we have might have heard this thing like ingress and egress. So ingress means the extraction part of it. Like that is this that towards left side is called data ingress. Like IoT Hub will be generating the data, and to IoT Hub there will be a device connected that will act as a that will collect those parameters. It will attach that the device to the IoT Hub, and Logic App will help to flow the events, the data collected or the measurements. So measurements will be collected using the will be collected through the function app. Function app is just a communication engine. There are, I will walk through what are the different components, the resources required in Azure to have an end-to-end flow. So Azure Function App will facilitate the communication between the data inputs and data outputs. So Function App will push the events, the which is called measurements also. Measurements is nothing probably could be new to you because you are still learning. Measurements is called the KPI metrics. Like whenever we develop any analytic solution, right? With the bar charts, you might have in your college might have worked on a couple of bar charts and prepared presentations and collecting the analytics part of it. So those things are collected by those are called measurements. And when you come to manufacturing, those things are called measurements. Measurements are which is what is collected by the IoT Hub, and these measurements are pushed by a function app to the digital twin to analyze those things and represent in a virtual format. I would be showing a very simple demo, but it covers a very good presentation. But yeah, for our case, it would be a room floor and a thermometer attached to a room, which will measure the temperature and humidity. So these measurements will be analyzed using a digital twin model, which is called instance, and then to have a good representation, it is called data egress towards right hand side. So we need some subscribers to whatever events we have analyzed using digital twin. We need some subscribers. So that is taken care by the what do you call the storage, the time series inside event grids, and event grids are one of the example, and we will see the other use cases. Even the basically the services which are subscribing the events, and then from there you can analyze this using Power BI and Power Apps, these statistics. So this is a typical example of how this architecture looks like. Like we have time series, like usually in robotics we have something called time series insights. That is the database for robotics. So time series insights is like non-relation database that is capturing the measurements of the robots. So that is stored in the time series insights. So this is a pretty yeah, and this is, I think, before going, because this involves I think advanced demonstration of this. This was a simple one, which will be this was the end-to-end flow. But to let me know once it's still visible. Yeah. So this is like one of the simple use cases. How a digital. Well, let me show the service how it looks like. This is called the screen which you are seeing. This is called Azure Digital Twin Explorer. So like when you provision a digital twin, right, this explorer is automatically created. Let me show. We go to resources and just filter out with yeah, this is the digital twin service. When you go to like create a resource, this is what it's called, like so this is what it is called. So which the topic which I have chosen for today. So you can read about more about this solution. This is again a IoT solution, and the typical things which are getting collected. And so this is uh, the towards the left hand side. Even I am not able to see, but I can explain detail in great detail in this particular thing. What are these calls? So so this is the service which I have created. And after creating, like, this is the solution which has been offered, like all resources, and then going to the there's a simple one. I think even you can do and try it out. I can give the links as well, like for the basic ones. So this is, once you provision the service, this is how the service will look like. And then when you go to the this explorer, this kind of window will open. This will pop in like this. This is called Digital Twin Explorer. Either you can directly browse to portal, which I just showed. Otherwise, you can install in your own laptop, like this. But you have to have more development tools to install it, like Node.js and Visual Studio Code, and there are .NET libraries which you need to have to install this in your local machine. Even I have not done that, but yes, but I just try to. This is like Explorer window will open, and yeah. So this is like the components. When if you see, endpoints is like now the slide which I was showing. This is like the endpoint. Endpoint is like the what you say, the event grids, the connected towards the right hand side, right? That we will subscribe to these endpoints. Like we will there is one more sample which I have for the digital twins. We will create an endpoint to subscribe, like event grid or logic app. So those are the endpoints. If you see, it has mentioned clearly that the event grid, event app, and service bus that will subscribe to the events. So that is why we have a endpoints here. Event routes is, we can define our custom routes. That is what it is, called the event routes. And then coming to again the digital twin solution. So now let me show, first of all, this is yeah, this is a Visual Studio Code. And this just wanted to show what are the components, like this. The definition of it is like, this is written in the DTDL language, digital twin data definition language. Sorry.
Don't worry about this language.
Yeah.
So, okay, folks, like if you think of this entire thing as an infrastructure, it's basically you are defining that entire infrastructure and saying
Yeah.
that, you know what, this is what I'll be using, this is what will be simulated, and this is what I want in my infrastructure, right? The cloud is always about that inclusiveness of putting everything in one stack. And this is a language which is using it. So digital twin language is something which is like your JSON and YAML only. So you're saying that, hey, infrastructure, you know what? I'll be using this infrastructure and this amount of components inside my simulation. Can you procure it? And this is a language which is now going in. So there is something called as a REST API, domain specific languages, and also there are specific languages which is coming for different purposes, right? So this is a DSL at the end of the day. It's a domain specific language. So this is what you're defining right now here. So nothing complex is going on. You're talking to the infrastructure through a DTL language. Got it? Digital twin language. That's it.
Yeah, that's a language which is used to define the modules, to create the
I don't want
modules.
you guys to rise up from your sleep. That's why I just did it. Thank you,
Okay.
Karan.
Um, so so this is like just sorry, I think I have to again go to that. Uh, Yeah. So before I even try to explain on the DTDL language, these are the couple of components which has been used. Property, the elements of the model, the property, telemetry, relationship, and component. Property and telemetry are quite often interchangeably used because both of them are actually capturing the measurements of the device. So properties are like just nothing, like it's just like this is the room. So properties just like we have speaker, we have whiteboard, we have these things. So these are the properties and the projector. So these are the properties. Telemetry is like if we have a device, it must be there inside this room, yeah, which is being the statistics being captured in the rectangular box, capturing the time and the temperature of this room. So that is called a telemetry. Telemetry is being generated by this device, which is acting as a thermometer, measuring the all those aspects. So categorize, understand in a simple language like this. So telemetry is will capture the measurements and the events. Relationship. Now relationship is like so. For example, this room is contained in a ground floor, and again this room has a device called thermometer. So this room is contained in a floor. So that is the relationship. Relationship means we have a room inside that in the floor. So that is a relationship between the this room and the entire floor. So and the components are like the devices like that's allow you to build that model. And now when it comes to this language, no, this is what you called is the properties, the relationship which has been defined, and the which we have to define these parameters, and then property. This is called floor example, and then this is a simple what you call the demonstration. And in the room we have a property called temperature, and its temperature is again a double int. This is called a data type which we have defined for the temperature property. And then we have a humidity, and again it is a integer or a double int which we have defined as a this is the data type for the humidity measurement. This is like, and the relationship between will be captured by using a an Excel sheet. And when we combined this one, right, so this is like I have already imported the modules inside it. So and the Excel sheets is like I have downloaded it. These are the JSON files of the floor and the room in my local machine. So when you see about this one, right, you can view the model which I have created using the in the Visual Studio Code. This is the entire the context of it. And again you can view the definition of this view the you can view the model definition of it using this one. And then if we want to see the properties of it, right, you go to you go to this one, and you see the temperature and you see the humidity. And this is being already measured, and 30 and 70. So different kind of temperatures are there being measured. So this again, if you query this one with with this kind of things, right, if uh, the temperature is greater than 75, only those things will should come. So in this case only room one should come. So this you can query. This is called a query, a digital twin query, which we can use to query your simulate your device and the measure the environment. So when you run this, it will give you I think that's this is only one room which was having temperature of more than 75. Again, this was 80, right? So this is a typical query is just like query which this particular digital twin will use to analyze the parameters. I actually have the advanced demonstration as well, but I think I can. This is the pricing model of it. Like, see, if you see, it's not even costing me a single penny. Why? Because I'm not doing any these many operations. So this rupees will charge for these million messages. As I said, this solution will generate terabytes or petabytes of data. Like this is called measurement, which will flow through the solution. Because if you see, measurements are collected, like we have tons of measurement being collected by the IoT device. So to analyze the solution, and that's why we have per million message. This is the cost for the messaging. This is called the operation cost, the flow, which will trigger through function app, and then we have the query units. So this is the basic one. So now quickly moving to the advanced thing, which I have just tried to simulate, and the architecture for this is looks like this. So in the organization like ABB or any company working in the manufacturing industry, this is a typical solution and the architecture of how it looks like. So what happens is, you this is the towards the left hand side. It's a IoT hub, and then there is a thermostat device which is fit into this IoT solution, like which actually measures the, in our case, a thermometer measures the temperature of that the solution IoT. It helps in generating the measurements basically. So that is called a thermostat device, which is connected to the IoT hub solution. Now to process the events, this function app which is called process hub to DT events, we use function apps to establish the communication between the data ingress and the digital twin. So this is one function which will be used to push the events, and then once it has pushed, so then this will be analyzed using digital twin, and the process data, the statics analysis, the whatever the statics being collected by the digital twin, the graphical one which I was just showing, will be collected and will be pushed through the event grid service. But this function I will subscribe to this event grid, and it will be stored in a storage account, or it could be a Synapse Analytics as well, or it could be a Databricks as well. So and then this could be further, what after generating these events, this will be showing that the temperature of whatever the float events from this digital twin solution, right? It will show there and in the process format in the digital twin. So this is a typical architecture how the flow basically looks like when you go towards the implementation part of in a kind of a manufacturing industry. For so I think this is one of the tools, and I think let me go to the services. Uh, so this is the services which have been used. Like I have just created this one as well. Like one is the function app, and this function app will contain two functions which I was just showing. And we go towards the configuration part of it. We'll see yeah, two functions which are being hosted here, which I've just published through the local code, right? And then we have this solution which I've just shown. Uh, yeah, I can even take. And this endpoint is just like what you say. The endpoint is called an event grid. Towards the right hand side, which you saw, right? Towards the right hand side, this is called endpoint, which is attached to this digital twin. This thing routes, again you can define your custom routes to customize the routes it will you have to take. So that is being controlled by the event routes. So that's again I have linked to here. And then it's called this is called the event grid topic, which again I think it is again so this is the event grid topic, which again I have subscribed to your digital twin solution to get the data out of the process data out of the digital twin solution. So and this is what is the heart of this solution, which is called the IoT hub, where you use this solution to register for the devices. And this is where comes the device management, where like you register the device, It could be a thermometer, or it could be any particular controller connected to the robot. And then while you register it, you have a device ID. This is called a device, a physical device connected to a thermometer connected to this room. This can typically represent a device. So that is called a device. And then you have a IoT edge solution. So there are different things which you can do with this solution. Now, when I run this solution, right? So this solution requires to have a Visual Studio 2019 version at least to configure. So let me stop this first, so that I can show it at least a glimpse of it. So this is what you call a sample app, which I've just cloned it. This is a C sharp application, and the typical this is where I have updated the URL. This is called digital twin URL. The instance, I have created one instance, right? With this was the instance. So this was, yeah, this if you see the ADT digital twin 1405. So this is the instance name which is being used, and this is the typical the URL which I've used in this particular solution. So this app settings will I have to edit and key in the this thing the URL, and then when I build this solution, this will create the digital automatically it will create the digital twin graphs. So when I run this one, right? So so it will query the digital twin. This is command line tool. So when I run, so that was a CLI digital twin graphical. This is the command line one. When you do a query, so it will typically query your digital twin instances, and it will show the same result as the it was showing in the previous one. And I have just copied these with this is the solution end to end one, which you can just explore this digital twin solution. And then you can observe this using once it's there, you can observe getting the events from this thermometer which was connected to the IoT hub, right? So this is the name was thermostat 67, right? This is one. So we will analyze these patterns. If you see, the thermostat is listed here in the response, and then we have a lot of other things as well. The response, then we have digital twin spaces, room 21, and then we have also have a floor. So these three models which we have created, it is displaying here. Now, to get the events, right? Typically, yeah. So this is I think to observe what is being generated. This is the command line query. The same queries which I can use using digital twin also, but this is the command line part of it. Like, it has started collecting the events. You see the temperature. It is 67. It is just trying to collect the events. Now, when this is like it's collecting the events from this particular the B parts towards the A part. This is what this solution is doing. It's collecting the events, the temperature from the thermostat, which is being monitored. Now when I try to emulate this using this is now I want to emulate the basically the C part of it, like to analyze these events and show in a process format the room temperature, whatever the data is collected from this one, right? It should go flow via room. It should measure the temperature of the room with the thermostat device. So now there is a separate solution for that, again, which is called I have cloned these all these things. So this is the ADT sample app which I have opened this solution. The second solution is the device simulator, which will simulate the behavior of the events which are collected. So now, when you this has been collected, now we'll run the second part of it. Like, we'll run our open a different instance of this solution. Uh, so meanwhile, this is like this will generate the process data, which is along with the data which are coming from the IoT hub, with along with the room temperature, it will generate the C part of the C part of it. So this is how the dependencies, they are all the frameworks and packages probably I don't know how much you will be able to understand this, but yes, this is was the advanced use cases of it. But when you run this now, it will start generating the events from the room device itself. So let us see what it will what it will generate the events. So I've actually, this is now the I've run parallelly. That's why this is already running. So there will be a lag of some 2-3 seconds because it is taking some time to collect the data. So the data it is coming like so that the initial lag came. So whatever events which got generating here using thermostat temperature, now it's processing through this entire flow, capturing the data for the this humidity and temperature for this room as well through the this C process event. And then this is what it's collecting the data. And this whatever message we have received from the A part of it, it's trying to analyze those temperature and see the emulation. So this is what we see a very simple use case of measuring the events and how it looks like. So yeah, I think let me close this window. uh, I think this is typical some of the links which I have gathered to prepare on this demonstration. And for this technical briefing, these are the couple of things which you saw, which I have provisioned: service plan app, application insights for the application which I have hosted, storage account to host the collect the data, digital twin instances, event grid, IoT hub, and the system topic. So and DTDL, which I think which was already covered along with me. So I think this was pretty much of it. Uh, yeah, I think that's it from my end, folks. Yeah, thank you.
सर कुछ ना कुछ बात करते रहो.
क्या बात करूँ?
अरे बात करो सर. ये लैपटॉप में सेट करो, कोई बात नहीं. बस एक तो मेरा
Yes, hold on, yes, hold on.
ये हुडी और अंदर एक टी शर्ट भी है. दो दो फोटो खींचना है, उसके बाद हम चला जाते हैं. ओके, कम कम. आपने कुछ ना कुछ तो वो काट लिया ना अभी.
So this is what last before you go.
तो अभी कुछ
एक
मजे
मिनट रुक
करके
जा,
चले
डेटा
जाओ.
का दिखाने देना, रोबोटिक्स का दिखाने देना, एक मिनट.
हाँ दिखा दो यार.
So this is
वेट वेट वन सेकंड.
दिखाऊं क्या?
Yeah.
Or you will show from here.
No, no. You share the screen with an audio. Share the screen
Audio
different way.
enable है.
No, no. Wait, wait, wait. It's not there. One second, guys. It's a last video. We'll take a photo. Parth is also here. An amazing person. If you want any help, like goodies and things like that, go to him. I'm just giving you more work. Fine, that's perfect. So let me just go here. No hoodies and all. Sorry for that. Fine, perfect. Let's just share the screen properly. Okay, why is my t-shirt like this? All right. So this is the video. This will be shared, and just see the potential of the digital twin. That's it.
Robot Studio is a software developed by ABB to monitor the measurements of the robotics and control it.
So, hey friends.